All right, welcome everyone. We're going to kick things off right away. So, first of all, I just want to acknowledge yet again we've got another decent turnout. We're in double figures already, and we're only just starting, so that's great. So this week's going to be a busy one. We're going to be talking a lot about the things that we've been doing, but we're also going to be creating a vote for the next focus. And I know multi-streaming, the app has not been released yet, but we're at such a stage now where it's imminent. So I think instead of waiting another week to chat with you guys and wasting a couple of days when we could be working on something new, I just thought we'd get it out of the way tonight. Makes it a bit more of a fun event as well, which is always good when we have these kind of votes. And then there's just some stuff to bring you up to date with Battle League and the Gamerverse. I know there's been some posts today, including a post I put out on Reddit. So there's a little bit to cover. So we'll start as we always do. I'm going to go through the figures. It's a bit more positive this week. I'm posting Reddit first. So this is the last 7 days of Reddit. So I'm not looking at the monthly now. I'm looking at the weekly because I think the monthly has kind of got us to a point now where we are at our baseline. So I think it's probably wise that we start looking at the weekly figures. This is more realistic now. So we're actually starting to take into account the existing figures, or at least the current state of things. So we just about nudged up the views over the last 7 days, only by one. Granted, the post that went out today might attract some views, so we might catch that in next week's report. But we increased our members. 0 left, 4 joined. Obviously, the number of posts went up, and the published comments also went up, which is always good to see. I think it's Chris over on Reddit who's really doing a good job over there. So props where it's due. So again, positive reversal of the trend over on Reddit. So next up, I'm going to drop in the Twitter 7 days. So let me just line that up. Well, it's X now, isn't it? So 7 days on X. And again, we've got a bit of a mixed bag, but definitely better than last week. We had a lot more red last week, whereas now we're starting to see things pick up a little bit. There's a few things that I'm not so happy about. So for me, the impressions being down by 3% is not great, but the profile visits being down by over 10%, that's the worrying one for me, because obviously it's great that we are getting engagement, which we are, and people are bookmarking now, which we don't really see much unless they're just bookmarking to hit us over the head with it in the future. I don't know. But we're getting reposts. We've got a 10% bump in likes, but the profile visits being down. Yeah, that's not so great. So I think we might have to think about ways to engage people in visiting the profile, because when they're at the profile, obviously our pinned tweet has a bunch of links. It drives people to the site. So that is obviously what we want to see. But ultimately, we saw a negative trend last week. And this week we are seeing over the last 7 days a positive trend. So next up, I want to talk about campaigns, the email campaigns. Now, one of them only went out today. So the overall figures are probably not going to be reflective of the whole campaign. So next week when we talk about this might be better. But I'm going to drop it in the chat anyway. And what we'll notice is there's two campaigns that I'm tracking right now. The LeetLotto one, which is probably spent now. We're probably not going to get any new data on that one. So it's probably good that we're able to look at it in comparison with the one that we sent out today. Because for me, what's interesting is so far the click rate is down on today's campaign, but it's literally only been a matter of hours since it went out, whereas LeetLotto now has been, I think that we sent that on the 3rd of July, so like a week ago, right? So I think the number of clicks being so low is not great, but already we've surpassed the amount of people opening. And to be fair, the only thing they can click on in that email was a link to Telegram. So it's not such a big deal that they click on it. It was more an awareness raising campaign. So I still think, for me at least, the conversion, or at least the opens, was the more important thing to kind of monitor here, because we tried a different way of wording the title. We used the person's display name, and we told them to have their say. And I think that definitely got people involved in the, hey, nobody's copying, hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. So hopefully that hook is a good way of getting people to open the email. Obviously, we've got nearly 20% open rate. The unsubscribe rate has rose like to 13, but again, it's not that significant. Anything less than 2%, I'm happy with on the unsubscribes. All right, cool. Now just rounding off the figures that we like to kind of point out, I want to show you the last 7-day chart. It's interesting reading. I mean, obviously, we've had a big increase in the market for the Bitcoin price, but we've also seen a reasonable performance from GMR. Now, if you was to have read the chat over the last few days, I'm only joking, guys. You talk about whatever you want, however you want, within reason, obviously. But if you was to look at the chat over the last few days, you know, I was dreading opening the 7-day chart today to look at it and see where we are. I was expecting it to be just bleeding everywhere, and you know, pleasantly surprised that we've maintained the kind of green. Obviously, we are at the mercy of the overall market in terms of the kind of general trend of GMR. But obviously, there's a lot of stuff we can do as a project to improve the price, and that's what we are trying to do with these dev chats, the email campaigns, the reboot of socials, Ultimo dropping updates after these chats, Frank dropping the updates after these chats. All these things are obviously organic, not paid for in the traditional sense, but it's marketing nonetheless. And alongside more positive outlook, more positive development from myself, I think we can definitely contribute to the price. All right, cool. So now we've got the numbers out, let's talk about what we've been up to. So as I mentioned at the start, the main focus right now, or two main focuses right now, is the stream client and the timeline version 2, so the improved timelines. So there's been a lot of development on both sides. The stream client is closest to being ready, but we also have a date for the new timelines now, a kind of rough date, which we'll talk about in a moment. But coming back to the stream client, so I was hoping we would have been ready to deploy literally beginning of this week. But we did a test stream on the weekend. So we did our dev chat, our coffee morning, which for us Europeans, it was literally early evening, late afternoon. So we're going to rename it to coffee chat, because I think it was only morning for our followers over in the Americas. So coffee chat is probably more relevant. But we did that, and we did it live on Twitch, and we did it live on the GMR Center, and we did that using the stream client. It worked great. It worked as expected, except for when I tried to build the client into an installable app, I came across a couple of issues. And it needs to be an installable app for me to be able to accept permissions to screen share and display share. And when I came across that issue, it was literally 10 minutes before the start of the call, because up until this point, I'd been testing in development, which we don't get the permission check, and we're unable to share in development the display. So there's a couple of things that I've had to tidy up on that, and mostly it's done. And there's a couple of things in terms of the packaging now that I want to get sorted before releasing. Long story short, the stream client is like a smidge away from being deployed, so I don't want to dwell too much on that. So coming to timelines. So as you know, LeetLotto is already displaying the kind of core components for the new improved timeline, and there's going to be some improvements to that deployed over the weekend as well. So the ability to like posts and quote them as well, which we don't even have that in the existing socials. So these are the things that we are going to be deploying over the weekend. And all of this is gearing up towards a new revamped social timeline, which we are hoping to get done by the 24th. So 2 weeks today, we should have that deployed. And what we can expect is basically our take on what Twitter is like, right? So when you sign into the app, and you go to your profile right now, instead you'll be going to a timeline. And this will not be a wall as such. We're going to get rid of the idea of a wall. This will literally be your timeline, which is things we think you're interested in, and obviously people you follow and subscribe to and so forth, right? So very similar to the way Twitter works, but it works. I mean, and if Meta can unashamedly clone the way Twitter works and release threads, then I don't feel so bad doing the same. But where things are different is that the ability to tip people in GMR is also going to be available from the first instance. So we're not going to be just an imitation of Twitter. It's obviously going to be layering in that utility for GMR as well. So you'll be able to send people GMR for good posts and receive it likewise as well. There'll be a few things to discuss about that, because obviously not everybody is familiar with tipping on the GMR Center. So you have to be, to claim the tokens you've been tipped, you have to register a wallet on the GMR Center. The tokens stay there, so we accumulate them and we hold them in the treasury. And when you want to claim them, you just have to ensure that you've added your wallet. So there's a little bit of education around that. It's not too difficult to understand, but we'll certainly educate people when the time comes. And what this basically means, guys, this is just a further evolution of the on-platform GMR Center wallet. So this is something that people like Frank have been kind of asking for quite a long time. It's something that we've mentioned here and there in the past. And basically what this means is we are a step closer to being able to allow people to go to the center, load up their account with tokens, GMR tokens, and then spend them within our ecosystem. And obviously what that means then is, such as our games, you can spend real GMR tokens frictionless without wallet transactions, provided you've obviously loaded the account. And in some cases, if you create well on the GMR Center, so you stream and you stream well and create good posts that go viral, then you'll be able to actually take in a lot more tips, so that you don't have to load up your account maybe, and you can spend them freely within the ecosystem as well. So it creates that sustainable GMR loop. So this is good news. This is a good thing. We've not had